Yes.
You know.
I was afraid. I was
You know
like,
what
is
time
he
it
about to
is?
clap? This is gonna...
Oh, yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
He's so excited.
Wildly uninteresting podcast.
All right, before we get started, it made me think of something when you clapped, right?
Episode 130.
Oh, man. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
It's, yeah, there was a part in Ghostbusters when there were like people in the crowd, you know? There were people there. And they were like,
What?
oh, it's about to get loud. And it got loud.
Yeah.
Because it was like a jump scare kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
So that made me happy. But that's what
Nice.
that was.
Does it get you all tense in the butthole?
No, I knew it was coming too.
Ah, damn.
I feel like it probably got Casper though.
I didn't say just because I know something's coming doesn't mean that it doesn't scare me.
Yeah, the anticipation of something coming for you. It's probably just as scary.
That only
Yeah.
worked for me in Mulholland Drive. In that case, it fucked me up,
Screwed you up, didn't
dude.
it? See, that's, I guess when you don't anticipate something, more of your, what's that system that you have? And it was very
Pineal gland.
archaic. And it kicks in and your defensive mechanisms just snap. And it's
Yeah.
you didn't even know they were there. But you have all these, like, powers because something scared the shit out of you. So it pulls out this, like, animalistic.
Adrenaline.
Yes.
Yeah, dude.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that I'm more on guard that way than if somebody told me, I'd be like, bro, don't even come at me.
Prep yourself.
Don't
All right, I'm
even.
ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
No, you're not.
I'm kind of just jumpy anymore, so
Yeah.
I mean, you could scare me. Not, you could be standing behind me and be like, "I'm scary," and it would fucking scare me.
That shit comes with old age, I think. Just like vertigo and shit, and like aches and pains and shit. It's so crazy that we're headed towards that slow descent into death now, because all of us are over that 25-year-old mark, and most of our listeners are. So congratulations, you're learning today that you're on the downward slope
Yeah.
to dying.
You're
Yeah.
going to die.
What a weird thing to think. I was sitting there last night taking those pictures at the sky, you know, and I was like, I'm wondering if there's another like being out there on the other side of the universe that's like looking back at me taking pictures. Like, I wonder if
How
somebody's
good of a
out there,
camera
man.
is that?
It just had me thinking, because I was, you know, the more I sat there, because you have to sit there for a long period of time to
Yeah, how
get the right
long?
one. It's like anywhere between 20 seconds and 2 minutes for each photo, and you have to take a shitload of them to get the right one. So I was sitting there thinking, like, I was in one position most of the time, but I noticed that when I started, the stars were like further over the house, and then when I was ending, they were, you know, further in the backyard, and I was like, Jesus, man, this thing, like, this world moves. I mean, I know, but
Yeah.
when you see it like that, and
You know
hundreds,
it moves, but to the degree that it moves, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, damn.
if you stand still enough, you can almost feel it. You can almost feel it.
Sit and just believe
Feel
it's
it.
happening. Whoa. That made me
I've
dizzy.
noticed that a lot with clouds lately.
Yeah.
It's like when I'm walking around at work, like I look at the clouds, and I had never really thought about the different layers of clouds, like the ones that are like super close and the ones that are like way the fuck up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like seeing them move at different speeds, and I'm
I
like, God
love
damn,
when
they're
that
trucking.
happens. Yeah. There's some quick moving shit out there. It doesn't necessarily look like it, and it definitely doesn't feel like it, but it's rolling. We be
Should be
rolling.
moving, cuz.
Yeah.
It's just an odd, awkward feeling knowing that you're just some non-existent thing. Technically, I mean, you're not even here.
Technically, you're
doing?
existent. What are you on?
What are we even doing here? You know,
Oh, well, yeah, that's a
taking
good question.
pictures of the sky like an
What are we
asshole.
doing here? Yeah. Look at him.
Yeah,
Look at
they're
'em.
pretty though.
They were pretty. If you want to see those said pictures, go to Instagram at Wildly Uninteresting Podcast.
Yes.
Take
And find
podcast
those.
out of it. That makes websites boring. Wildly uninteresting podcast website.com.
How many of them did you post on Instagram?
Like 3 of them.
Yeah.
They're
that's
so
awesome.
pretty.
They are so pretty.
He sent them to me directly. I know
Yeah.
the host.
yeah.
I know a guy.
He sent them to me directly also.
So
I
how
also saw him that day.
was your
Oh, shit.
Thanksgiving? The celebration
was
of the murder
fine.
of indigenous people.
It's a celebration of thanks.
Yay.
It's called Thanksgiving, not dead people giving.
Come on, man.
Murder
Which would be
Day.
cool.
You know that the story of all that whatever how we
You mean the
mass
Nickelodeon
murdered people to take over their land and we
Yeah.
brought. So I learned that with like us coming over, the European settlers when they came over, they also brought a lot of Western diseases like unknown. They didn't have an immunity to it over here and shit like that. And I guess that's why like when somebody comes back from the moon, they quarantine them to make sure they're not bringing back something that
Right.
could
Hell
like
yes.
kill the population, which is, I get it. But that's they were asking a shaman in the Amazon. They were like, "What's wrong with the Western world?" And that's what they said. He was like, "You stop connecting with your soul, yourself.
Yes.
You've lost
You cut
touch.
off from the
Yeah, you've cut off from that. You eat all these foods and shit that create disease. You take those like fast food restaurants that create those diseases. You put them overseas, and then you give other people a Western disease.
Yeah, but what's so great about shamans? They don't have record stores.
That's
They're
right.
connected
Yeah.
to the. They don't even need them. They are record stores.
All your poison food, bitch. Your people died too.
I wonder
But
how
he's
much
right.
better
Yeah, for
the
sure.
life is, and like
You
say
are too.
say you flip your whole life on its head and then you like connect with soul, you go out to the Amazon, you're one with the earth and shit like that. How much better do you, because like we would perceive that as losing everything that we have now. Imagine if you were there and then that's the life you live. Would it be 10 times better? Don't have the thought that you're losing all like the air conditioning, the
be
house,
different.
all that. Be different?
Yeah.
You think you'd be happier? Like connecting more?
Yeah, I feel like there would definitely be that, but then you just have a whole new set of concerns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
just
how
be
am I
another
going to
one.
get food?
Yeah, when's this panther gonna eat me?
Yeah, is
You
my
know?
family going to live through the night?
Yeah.
Probably not.
I don't know. I mean, if you were just to like up and go, it'd be one thing if you were like born and that's how your life is, it would be fine. But if we were to go to the Amazon and just start living, well, I'm not going to do that. I'm telling you that now.
No.
It's not in the cards
It'd be
for me.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Think
that
about
would
all
be
the
bad.
shit out there that
Yeah.
can just fuck you up.
It'd be
And all the
awful.
bugs.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah.
That's probably the biggest reason I would never travel there is
Is-
because
is the
of the
bugs.
bugs.
See, I feel like it's a whole thing of like society say it's like the grass is greener on the other side type shit. Like, oh, we live in a culture where you have to deal with the bosses and the commute. It's like, yeah, but life sucks for everybody to some degree.
Right.
It's just,
Yeah.
in what way do you want it to suck?
Right.
So everybody romanticizes the way that they don't have.
Everybody. That's
Everybody.
Yeah, no matter how good your situation is, a lot of times like you romanticize about just what's on the other side of the hill.
Yeah.
Always.
Because it's
So-
always better. Like, just,
Yeah.
that's where being present is really beneficial. Just be in the moment that you're in, enjoy
Yeah.
what you have. Because there's a lot of people who don't have whatever you're probably complaining about.
Yeah, like even Elon Musk, richest dude in the world.
Yeah.
Earth isn't enough. Let's go to Mars.
No shit, exactly. It's kind of just how we are, I guess. I don't know where this envy comes into play. Everyone wants what everybody else has, but it seems fucking stupid to me. That's basically what that is. Bull.
I believe always I'll go
Check
back
your
to
shoes.
that they taught us to be that way. For whatever means, to whatever end, I believe that they taught us.
It was to keep society going.
Yeah, I guess you still have to like
So-
compete with your neighbor always.
Well, yeah, it's like if we don't have something to strive for, then nothing will get done.
Right.
Also,
Yeah.
it's like the idea of debt. If people aren't in debt, what reason do they have to work for anything other than exactly what they want?
Yeah.
Then they get what they want. They drop out of society. And everybody's,
Yeah.
It's good to go. But that,
Awesome.
I think you'll always be wanting, and that's why I told you. Like I try to shut myself down because I'll do that with everything. I do that with the things I buy, the things that, like even like the company. I'll always be like, well, it could be better this way or that way, or I should have got something different or something better. And I think that's just like a deeply ingrained childhood issue that I have.
see, that crap kind of
Yeah.
ties into the video that I sent you that you should watch at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like the things filling the void of questions that we'll never get the answers to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we just seek other things to where it's like, all right, here's this crap that you're going to have your questions about, but you get nowhere. So then you put it elsewhere. Instead of thinking about the base level shit, you move on to the superficial crap.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Instead of just accepting that we don't know shit and enjoying what you have, it's like, oh, I'm going to avoid that. Let's get over here to this.
Yeah.
We do our best to avoid pain and avoid things that make us uncomfortable and shit. And I wonder how much, if you leaned into those things that were extremely tough or whatever, how much better that would be. How much better would it be if you lean into them, got them done and over with, and just like put them behind you?
Because then, next time something
As soon as they pop up,
like kind of crappy comes up, you'll be better equipped to deal with it. It won't be as hard. It won't be as crappy. You'll be able to actually deal with it. If you never deal with anything shitty in your life, when something shitty happens, you can't do anything. Like you're gonna have a hard time emotionally and every other way.
I'll say that
Quit being bitches.
that I noticed with the company, I'll get super tripped out about a job before it ever happens, right? Just the thought of it, like on a Saturday, and I'll think about it on Sunday, and then Monday, and then say the job's Tuesday, and then I finally go to it. And I practically got to drag myself to it. It's not that I don't know this stuff. It's not that I don't know how to do the job. I'm not competent enough. But it's more of like my own insecurities of like, I'm going to fuck up and we're going to fail and all this stuff. And then, I work it up, you know what I mean, in my head, and all these anxieties and depression comes from that workup. Yeah. And then, come Tuesday, then Friday gets here and I'm like, well, that was, it's so far behind me now. Yeah. And I was so worried about it, but it's done.
How often does anything bad come of that shit?
Never.
Not usually.
Then shut the
knock
fuck
on
up.
Wood. Yeah.
Accept it. What
but
are you
that's
doing?
what I'm saying. We're deeply ingrained with things that I think you can't control.
But we're also equipped to control our mentality.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that, you can control it. It'll take some work. It's not going to happen like that. But
easy.
There's people who are literally trained to help you stop thinking that way.
Yeah.
And so you don't consume, 6 days with 1 day job. Yeah.
Right.
With
and
a 1 day job.
We were talking about it the other day in the vehicle, because I told her, I was like, I was giving some thought to it, and I think this is where it's coming from or whatever. And then we got to talking about it, and she said that. And it's that goes back to that original argument. Most people were just like, oh, well, you change it, or change your mindset and shit like that. The hard part about it is, like, yes, you always have to live, though, with the original insecurity or the original thing that you learned as a child. You always have to live with that, but use these coping mechanisms. And then some days, it's super hard to use those coping mechanisms because you get into those areas that you can't get out of, like depression and anxiety. And then, so it's super easy to be like, oh, we're here a bunch of tools, but you're fighting against something that's a lot stronger because you were born and
it's not
raised
a lot
that
stronger.
way.
You can overcome it. Just stick with it.
Eventually. It's not all coping skills. A lot of it is retraining you to think a different way or, at least like counter your thoughts.
But then some people don't want to change that because it feels like they're changing themselves. And they're like, I'm not me if I don't have this crippling anxiety.
Right, yeah.
Like, well, do you want that or do you want to be not with that?
Right. Definitely.
Either way, shut the fuck up.
Yo, and I think too, and that's another thing, like The Rock talks about, right? He has all
Rock says.
The Rock, or I'll say Dwayne Johnson, right? He always talks about like all that, depression and stuff that he fought through and whatever. And you see how far he's gone. And then I think Oprah even deals with a lot of that. And then she dealt with a lot of racism in the beginning and a lot of insecurities in that regard. But I think you're right. There are a lot of people though, like me. I'll still go to the job. I'll suck it up. Eventually go. I might have to drag myself to fucking like change it and get there. But a lot of people use it like that's a part of their identity. They wear it, on their sleeves, and they want everybody to, change for that. For to shape their lives around them and their depression and anxiety.
Yeah, because this is how I am.
Right.
You don't have to be whoever you are. Like, you don't have to be that way.
If you accept that that's who you are, then it's like there's no reason to try to grow at all.
Right.
It's like you're going to be this way until you die.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, but I don't want to be that way at 60. Well, then buck up and change it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to
Fuck
do it.
nuts. There's at work, there's this chair that I sit in. It's a rolly chair, but the back of it, like you can, it kind of goes in phases. You know, you can move it forward and back and all this shit for reclining. And sometimes when you're sitting there, if you lean forward for too long, it like pops and it goes back to position 1.
Yeah.
And that used to just piss me the fuck off.
Yeah.
And combine that with the phone that I have to go over to let people in whenever it goes off. It has like a peaceful kind of tone. And at first it was cool, but then it became associated with people wanting to come in and I had to get up and
Irritation.
let them in. Irritated the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are these 2 buzzers for this conveyor belt that I have nothing to do with. And it's just and then the other one starts in, so you got them. They used to piss me the fuck off.
Yeah.
But then I accepted that that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And now it doesn't bother me.
Yeah. That's exactly.
That's
It's-
yeah. I
yeah.
would say realizing that it's just the way it is, and whether you can like live in it, or you can like, you know, change it or do something, or kill yourself. I don't know.
Like, work on your acceptance game.
Yeah, I think that's the big one, is accepting it. But I think as well too, like, being honest with yourself and shit, because we have people that we have given information to and shit like that to better their situation, and they take the information, they stuff it in a closet somewhere. Like, they never go forth to try to make anything better. And that's what Sarah helps me with. If you never try to make anything better, then you're always going to be in, like, it's stupid, it's redundant. Not redundant, but it's
Redundant for sure.
Don't complain about these things, and openly talk about them. And then when somebody gives you like free help or offers their hand for help, you
Like,
don't do anything
no,
with
no,
it.
no, I'm good.
I burn my hamburgers every week. Turn it down. Check on them. No.
No, that's not how I cook.
That's no.
That's how it's gonna go. It's
Have
exactly
fun with
the
your
same.
ash.
That's
I
the
cook
same
on
exact
high
thing.
only.
Yeah. And it's baffling though. But luckily I can get around and like, take 2 or 3 days and then think about it and be like, all right, work it out. But yeah, some people, man, that like you said, it's their identity. It's a part of like their conversation with other people.
Yeah.
They want them to know and like feel bad and interact with them in their way,
Right.
And they need that excuse, because without it, they're just an asshole.
Then they have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they
have
can't,
no
if they can't
personality.
complain, they're like, Then they move on to craft beer.
Crap.
And that's where that goes.
Damn it. Tell me, how much does it bug you? Because it bugs me a lot. If you're like in a room full of people, right? So let's say a party. I'll just say a party. And then you have that one person or 2 people that are like, they go around and all they do is talk about like the bad things that have happened to them, or like the only thing that they can conversate about is like money problems, or this happened to me, or my failures because of somebody
I
else.
used to work with a chick like that at Save a Step. And she would just complain all the time.
Yeah.
And I would, for a while I would listen. It's like, oh, well, you could do this. And,
Right.
She never listened to me. So I just started talking about how good my life was.
Yeah.
That's
And
awesome.
then she stopped. She didn't say shit to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
I loved it.
Like, that's so funny that your dog died and your car kind of sucks, because I have a Lamborghini and I have lots of dogs.
I had a great day yesterday. I had too much money.
I know.
I ate pizza. My cat loves me.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was told
I don't
told a story about a teacher when I was really young, and she was like, you could probably get the moral of the story. I will paraphrase the shit out of this story, but a guy in a village, right, woke up every morning and he played his trumpet, waking up the other neighbors, right? The one neighbor that was highly upset decided that he would pay him every morning to wake up, $5 every morning to wake up and play that horn. And he paid him that way for a year. After that year, the guy that was paying him stopped paying him. The guy with the horn that woke up every morning and got the $5 and played stopped playing because the money wasn't there. He's like, why would I wake up and play the horn if you're not going to pay me?
Yeah.
So the moral of the story is just like what you said. You give them that, and you face them with something that is happy and shit like that.
Yeah.
You take away that the reward for them talking about their bullshit because nobody cares.
Yeah.
And that's the sad thing. But we had a customer. I swear, every time I went over there, I think she was on the verge of suicide. Every time I went over there, she cried and we hugged and I cried and stuff. And I was like, I can't take this lady, right?
Yeah.
Or
So I
man.
killed her myself.
And it was always like, it just, clearly she had a lot of issues that I was not equipped to deal with. You're not equipped. A truly, like a medical professional needed to deal with.
Therapists.
We're not, right? But she would like put those things on me, and then she would complain because everybody in her life would
Take
take
advantage of her,
advantage
yeah.
of that. And then, I mean, even like charge her to talk to them and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I was just, I don't know. You can't burden people with your problems and your pains because
Right.
they have
Everyone's
problems.
got
and
their
pains.
own shit. Now, it's one thing if like you're friends and you're talking and like duh, like that's what friends are for. But if I don't know you and
At
I'm
all.
at fucking Target, like
Yeah.
I don't wanna hear that shit.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about your so and so dying. I just don't need. It's amazing how much that happens to me.
See, I don't mind it. It happens to me too, and
God.
I'll listen. I'll give them advice, and then if they take it, cool. If they don't, I don't care.
It really depends on my mood. I
Yeah.
have times that I'll talk to any motherfucker in the store. I don't care what it's about. And then there are times that I just want to just leave me alone. I'm having some alone time.
Yeah.
I don't want my alone
Let
time
me get
to
my Imodium. Come on.
yeah to involve some stranger I don't know telling me about everything. That happens to me constantly.
See, for me, for some reason, like whenever people like strangers, people I know, it's like work
Yeah.
it out.
Keep it to
Yeah.
yourself.
But strangers, it interests me.
Yeah.
So like even if I want time to myself, like they're going on, I'm like, I didn't expect to get this story.
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah.
There's times
You
too
can
that
see the benefit of it.
it depends. I can usually tell what type of person they are. So some people just want to trap you in their conversation, and others, they're just chatting. It's like you're waiting in line and they know when to end the conversation.
Yeah.
I can't stand the people that you're just held verbally hostage.
Yeah. Like they try to like talk to you in the parking lot after.
Yeah,
It's
like let's
"Ah,
walk out together.
all right. Well, good luck with that. I'm gonna go beat off or something.
Yeah.
we were going to back when Sarah's first round of like the endometriosis got so bad they had to do surgery. I was
Is that
working at this.
skateboarding sickness.
Yep, it is. Some people
Yeah, I
call
got
it
it from
fake. No.
from all the skateboarding I do.
Yeah.
Constant. I'm
Because
skateboarding
she
right
wore
now.
Vans. That's why. No, so we have to be like out of the city by like 11 or 12 to get down to Lexington. And I did work for this guy that morning, right? I was done with the job within an hour, right? I was free and clear, and I was waiting to get paid. Sure enough, this guy was a military vet. So I was like, I will definitely listen to the story.
The
and I
war
will-
is over.
Yeah. This dude, I mean, he went through the entire war story.
Sorry.
He went
okay.
through like all the stuff that he went in the military. He had a knife or a sword from some leader somewhere, whatever. I mean, he went through every step of his life, and it was one of those moments because then it was a grown man, and he started like weeping in front of me, and I swear, dude. There was never a point in my life that I've ever been more uncomfortable. My toes were all curled up and my body was tense. And I was just, it was so bad, like I wanted to just freak out and run out of the house.
Yeah.
But of course, I worked for somebody else at the time and I had to get the money for the job, but this dude was holding me hostage.
Did you feel that way because it was overwhelming?
I don't know. I've never figured that. I think it was overwhelming because now I'm late because of this guy's story and holding me hostage.
Right.
He was weeping. It was something that was like
There's so much
the
to
emotion
it.
was so high, and I was
Sounds
just
like
like,
grounds for overwhelm.
yeah, it was definitely overwhelming. And I wanted to,
It is overwhelming. Yep. That's what it is.
I wanted to just like act crazy and like rah, and run out of the house.
Yeah.
Like a Tasmanian devil, leave an imprint in the
Yeah,
wall.
I feel your pain, buddy. but I gotta go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Say, my wife is having a baby. I have to leave right now. Use that excuse all the time because it's not like this never happens. It happens frequently.
Yeah.
I used to have a patient that was like that. She would never talk about anything. Like, session's over and we're just like bullshitting.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been stuck in the office for multiple hours with her, and no one ever. Usually, the people around you are like aware because everyone knows who's like chatty patients. They're the ones that's gonna hold you hostage, so they'll look out for you. Nobody did that shit at all. I have actually texted a supervisor before to be like, you have to get me like now because this has been 2 hours and I'm gonna cry because I cannot sit here any longer.
I'm a hostage. Bring the cottage cheese helmet.
Yeah. I have so much I have to do and this person will not get out of my office.
Yeah.
Please save me.
Well, and that, I think too that the lady, you know, she had done that once or twice before, and it really depended on the mood. But the first 2 times, I did. I cried with her. I hugged her, and I told her it was gonna be good. And I was very willing to be a part of the story and to help and do whatever I could.
Right.
But after like the 4th time of her like calling us and not even getting jobs done, just having us like look at stuff to quote. And then, you know, and I spent 3 hours there talking to her about her issues and stuff. I'm like, I'm not your therapist. Like you said, I'm not the no.
I have a job to do and I can't talk to you for hours or listen to you for hours and do my job well.
We finally
People
give
get-
a quote, and then she never gets the work done.
Yeah.
Never.
No.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I sat there for, I think if you added it all up, probably an 8-10 hour day talking to her total from all the jobs that we went to go look at. But you see how
It's a
that
lot.
can get.
Do you
that
feel
can
like
get-
there was any progress?
No,
No.
I think that hers were so deep, like her wounds were so deep
Yeah, that
that.
shit started in childhood and just kept
Yeah.
piling on.
Oh yeah, like one out. It just, you ever meet those type of people that have those problems? You hear the stories and you're like, why would a God put you here to go through all that? Why?
Yeah.
There's no credible reason for God putting you here because in the
course
end
there
you're going to be
is.
like, what
Ooh.
what could possibly come good from that?
I don't see why that has anything to do with the God.
I'm just saying that most
I'm
like
serious.
most
that's
people
fair.
would say, well,
Yeah.
God has a plan and his or her ways are bigger than we are. I'm just playing that side too.
Oh,
like
yeah, no,
for
I'm
an
saying-
explanation, why
Yeah. Well,
in
if you-
God's name would
if you
something
play
like
that side of it, you have to accept that you're too stupid to understand it.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're just here and fucked up shit happens.
Yeah. Like, that's why. I mean,
So
Yeah, it has nothing to do with God doing it to you.
Yeah.
It's just
I told Sarah, I was like, the other day, I said that from the moment that we're put here on earth to the time we leave is technically all suffering. There are very small amounts.
technically no.
You don't believe that?
No.
Why don't
I'd say
you
there's a
believe-
lot of suffering, but to say it's technically all suffering is ridiculous.
yeah.
You don't think that it's
Because
the
I don't
majority of
suffer
suffering?
while we do this.
No.
Even majority is, for some maybe, but
I can't remember the last time I felt like I was genuinely like distraught. I get probably the car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, I mean, and that was a big fucking deal. Like, other than that, my God, that's been almost 3 years ago. Yeah. Everyone's different though. I mean, some of it is, we were discussing the other day, some of it's a chemical imbalance. You can't help that you feel that way. Something's not right. Your body just doesn't do it properly.
see, even with that,
Sorry.
it's like, I mean, yeah, there are things that could be done about it, but it kind of goes with the idea of the alarm and the chair. It's like, this is just the way it is.
Right.
This is the way you are. So make it work within that construct.
Yeah.
And then the time will pass. Because, I mean, I'd say for the better part of a decade, I was depressed.
Right.
And I didn't seek treatment or anything. I just, all right, well, this is how it is. This sucks shit. All right, what can I do? And then I tried things. I failed. I tried things, and I failed. And eventually it just kind of...
Right.
So
Okay.
this is reality. How do I exist within this? I mean,
Yeah.
or you could just eat a bunch of drugs and
Yeah.
talk to a
Damn 'em.
therapist. But
Yeah.
you know,
Or you could just try talking to a therapist. You don't have to take medication. I mean, a lot
no,
of
that
times
was more condescension on my
Yeah.
part. But yeah,
I got you. Yeah.
Yo,
I say
that-
a lot of times just talking to a professional like helps with stuff like that.
It reminded me of a quote that I was watching the other day. It was attached to some video, but it was like the man who heals himself. Man isn't man or woman.
Yeah.
Heals
Man.
you
themselves.
can't spell woman without man.
Yeah.
That heals themselves are stronger mentally, I guess, because they've had more conversations with themselves and their own mind or whatever. And so the person that heals himself are actually stronger than those who seek help from whatever. Now, I don't know. I think that's one of those quotes that are just like, suck it up, pussy. But
Well, I mean, there's truth to that, because if you think about your mental traumas as weight, and your mental strength and your emotional strength, compare it to physical strength. The people that can lift the most weight are the people that have torn their muscles the most.
right.
So if you go through the most shit and you just stick with it and you keep working and you focus, you can work it out.
Right.
But if you just sit on the sidelines and watch everybody else lift weights, you're nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
Never gonna get bigger.
Then you're just gonna cry. Oh, I could be big too, but I can't afford the pre-workout.
I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, I don't. That's dumb. The people that lift weights are stupid.
Yeah.
You're just a
I'd-
lazy
Ridicule
crybaby.
them.
I definitely think that there are some people who can, get through shit themselves, but there's also a lot of stuff that, like dealing with trauma and stuff like that, like, for the most part, humans are not equipped to do that. That's why trauma fucks us up so much, because we
Right.
are not, that's why your brain, like, blocks shit out. That's why people disassociate and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
plus
like,
the brain does form differently
yeah,
from
for
trauma
sure.
and shit.
Everything, I mean, to a cellular level,
Yeah.
is changed by trauma. There's definitely some stuff that I feel like there's a reason that people exist on the planet who are trained to help with stuff. 'Cause
but-
you need two brains sometimes.
But then if you think about the idea that trauma causes the brain to wire differently, the only way, I guess there would be two options of changing it. You can either immerse yourself in positivity and goodness, like not just thought, but like the world around you, good people, good actions, and all that stuff, and hope that your brain rewires itself. Or hire a brain surgeon
to literally
to wire your brain literally differently.
Yeah.
It would be dope though if Neuralink, once that's like up, running, and like well tested and shit,
Yeah.
if they can implement that, and then when you're like, oh, well, I have this mental ailment that it restricts me from doing work or whatever, they just
Right.
like implant it, and then the shit actually changes
Well,
your brain.
even
Yeah,
like
that'd be
along those lines, like there, there's like the whole ayahuasca type shit, go on the
Reset.
really deep journey, to reset. But there's also evidence that supports the idea that the sensory deprivation tanks have positive influence on people with PTSD.
Ooh, that's cool.
So, yeah. Maybe give that a go too.
Hell yeah.
But mostly just shut the fuck up.
Well, and I feel like the whole point is you have to try something I mean, or nothing will ever change. If you're not
Indeed.
trying things, it's always going to be the
it's
same.
It's not gonna change
Right.
if you're just like, one day it's gonna change.
Yes,
Like,
just like
you know.
saying I want this to be different isn't going to do
No,
anything.
one day I'm going to win the lottery.
Right.
When was the last time you bought a ticket? 7 years ago.
Yeah.
But one day.
Yeah, you'll probably win then.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a baffling thing, but that goes back to people like just like wallowing in that self-pity
Right.
and that look at me and that
But then that just helps to illustrate the idea of how small so many people are.
yeah.
And I know people are going to think, oh, look at this guy. He's just blaming people for their own.
Victim
No.
blaming.
Well, no, and I fucking hate
It's the
victim
truth,
blaming, but yeah, I mean, there's still like you have choices that you can make
Yeah.
to improve your situation.
Yeah.
Do one of those choices, or nothing will ever be different.
Yeah. And it's like, where do you draw the line, like, with victim blaming? Like, at what point does it become maybe you shouldn't have walked down that dark alley at midnight without a weapon.
Yeah, no,
dude.
that to me isn't victim blaming. I mean, that's common fucking sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's how I see it. But there are some they're like, "Oh, you're blaming the
always-
victim.
Yeah.
They were in an alley. They couldn't help it."
I do think though that there's an appropriate time to mention that. Like if
Yeah, so,
someone's
right
like
after.
crying like I was raped and you're like, well, you shouldn't have been in that alley. Like
shouldn't
that's
have
just
drunk in
fucking
that
rude.
alley.
Yeah,
Like
that's not helping anything.
yeah.
It's like those people that went biking in that heavily populated area that had ISIS in it or whatever. Though they were
Yeah.
tourists and they
Oh,
were like,
yeah.
"We're just gonna bike."
Yeah.
Was it the people that thought they were like, "Oh, we're all united. We're brothers.
Yep.
Nothing bad will
That was
happen."
That was them, and they got
So-
like beheaded and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
fucking idiots.
yeah.
But then within your
Yeah.
example, like if they're crying and they're like, "Oh," that kind of raises the question of how much does emotional distress outweigh objective truth? It's like, yeah, maybe in that moment there is a time and a place, but at the end of the conversation, maybe it would be better to advise them to not do that.
Yeah,
Because,
for sure.
I mean, they're like, "Oh, I got raped in an alley." Well, I'd like to think you have the common sense to not walk in an alley alone,
yeah.
defenseless.
Yeah.
Maybe you need that lesson. But
well,
also, don't be a cock about it.
Right. Yeah. Well, and there's also that's, I guess, the situation isn't black and white, so you have to have, I guess, both sympathy and, some advice in that
Yeah.
situation. Yeah, you just have to find a way to say things delicately.
it's just rough for some people. Some people, man, are like me. Even if it hurts me to my core when somebody says like the truth, because most of us already know the truth, but when somebody says it, we're just like, and it's
Yeah,
like
you
the
can go
veil's
fuck yourself.
uncovered. Yeah, and we're like, go fuck off. Most people know that, and then that's why they get so upset. So it's like, I think most people already know, that
Yeah.
that most of the things that happen to us are our fault,
Yeah.
and they get mad at the fact that you're bringing
See,
it to light.
I had a thing, it was kind of like where I was living in a fantasy world, and then the reality came to me, and I was like, "Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, this is brutal." But it was for the best.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
suck it up,
Yeah.
It's like don't make somebody's time worse intentionally, but also don't use your shit time as an excuse to be shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, for
dude.
sure. Well,
That's
I was just thinking with like fantasy and reality, like we should be able to walk in dark alleys and not get assaulted,
Right.
but that's not the reality.
Yeah.
right.
Until you leave your doors unlocked at night.
Yeah.
You keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
I think, and we've talked about the world's always been that way. There was never a time where that was like okay. We just now can get that information so much quicker, and it's shared more that we
Right.
know that the world is this bad. So you should know that the world is this bad.
It's
plus
not
with-
like there were never assaults until the 1960s. Like,
It's just there are way more people now.
yeah.
And
that too,
the
yeah.
likelihood of it happening is greater. Plus, with God, I don't know. It's like there's less horribleness as it pertains to like existence, because like there are more people where it's like, "Oh, I'm hungry." Well, you can go down here and
Right.
get some food, or you're not going to die in the forest alone. But I don't know, man.
Yeah. I know.
And I think
Whatever.
I think it's with every topic you get to a point where it's just like there's so many avenues for this one topic that nothing covers it. Yet
Right.
we think that science or religion or personal belief explains a lot of things. It really doesn't. If you're okay to admit most of the time that you're dumb as fuck, most of us are, all of us pretty much. Like I think you'll be better off. Like we none of us understand. Even if you went to a therapist, they don't have your answer. They can give you these things.
Yeah, they
but
help guide you.
yeah. So I think if you just admit that we're all ignorant to how life is and works, and just try to better yourself from there.
But then what about the idea that that's an absolute? To where it's like, we're all ignorant to what's... But what
No,
if
we're-
there's somebody that's not?
I'm sure there isn't. I'm sure there's somebody that isn't. isn't not.
Well, I think there's.
Then would that cause everybody to be the same?
It might be Chris Porter. There's some comedian who says like we're all like a certain percentage of dumb. We all are really smart in one why can't I think of the word? Whatever, one area, and then really dumb in another. It's
Yeah.
it's
and all
just
out, yeah.
yeah, like we were talking before. Like there's so much information and so many things to learn that it's impossible to, or at least it seems anyway, to learn every
Everything.
single thing about
Yeah.
every single thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so, yeah. Sometimes I'll get on my high horse, like Casper will do something stupid. I'm like, this idiot bitch. But then I think, like, she knows all kinds of things that I don't. And I'm
Right.
like, oh,
yeah.
I'm the idiot.
Yeah.
Ah.
That's what I
both
always go back
idiots.
to. And anybody can judge me for that, but I have like people in the trades that I've been with for a long time that are like managers at whatever company they are, and Google and YouTube. Like I would not at this point in my life ever like go into the book and try to remember everything and all that shit. Not a chance now. I'm always gonna open the book. Like I'm not gonna retain this because it's right here. Like I don't have to recall it.
Right.
This can.
Yeah.
And then when that fails, I'll just make mistakes until I figure it out. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause if it was easy, it would be called your mom.
Hey, hit the hype button. I can't. I got it. Thanks.
No, dude. So on to a next topic. This book.
Oh,
that
now we're
you-
just done.
Well, yeah, I feel like that consumed pretty much half of it, so I'm sure that people got
Half?
the message. Yeah. The book that you brought, can you explain this book? Because it's
No.
to somebody from a lesser, like, that don't know anything about it, you would think that it has to do with, like, the devil and darkness.
Well, I'd
and-
say it's more of the left-hand path, but it's called the Grimoire of the Unborn, and it contains philosophy and ritual to manifest this eyeless lord guy.
Yes. It's an awesome.
I'm not
looking
far
book.
enough along to really understand all of it, but yeah,
Yeah,
I know I run the risk of getting into some legal trouble.
See, it's we had a buddy that, or I had a buddy in high school that was like, he would bring the Book of the Dead or whatever, and people would be like, oh, he's a,
Necronomicon ex mort.
he was like, he'd be like, oh, yeah, I don't know what that said.
I don't know. It was weird.
I look at him, he can't read.
I know.
Talking books.
He would do that, and
Not
they
a
would
coloring
call him
book,
like
Adam.
a devil worshiper and shit, and he got ridiculed for it. In reality, it wasn't.
Did you hear that?
It wasn't none of that.
Well, yeah. People like to jump on that shit. It's like things that they don't understand. Anything that's not, oh, praise Jesus, kindness and love.
Right.
You know, it kind of gets a bad rap.
Oh yeah.
But-
Well, and a lot of times people just aren't willing to learn about everything good. Yeah, they're not willing to learn about something that's unfamiliar. Especially there's so many things like, you know, whatever the fuck you were just talking about. I haven't. I can't think of the name of it.
The Necronomicon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. It has a stigma attached to it because
Yeah.
some propaganda along the way, and
Likely pushed by the Catholic Church.
right.
Those fuckers.
Yeah, they are
God.
little assholes.
Let's rape kids and charge people to get into heaven. Yeah. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I-
Well,
They do kind of know what they're doing, though.
They definitely have it figured out. I can't. How many followers do they have?
Oh, so many.
Yeah.
Like all of Mexico.
And there's. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, there's so many stories out about how fucked they are, and they still have a bunch of believers.
We're all imperfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
Oh.
maybe that's how they connect to people. I'm a sinner, you're a sinner. You know, you might do horrible shit, but we rape kids, so
Yeah.
a DUI on the weekend, Chuck, isn't that big of a deal.
We'll see you on Sunday.
But then, you know, the whole 10%, it's just... There's got to be a way to describe what kind of business that is. Other than, like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme or hucksters, you know? There's, like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. The whole 10% thing blows my mind. It's nuts. That's
Yeah.
what we were at his family's house, and I knew Grandma was talking about one of the family members, and that's what she mentioned about him, was that he pays his 10% every week.
Yeah.
She said it like 5, 6 times.
Yeah, like he's a good guy. He doesn't need to pay 10%. His tithes don't make him a good guy to me.
Right. But, I mean, I could see where someone would use that as an example of they care about the future of humanity.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, as much as the church is fucked up and there are problems, it's a good starting point for anybody.
Oh, for sure.
They're like, oh, I have these horrible... well, welcome, brother.
Yeah.
We accept everybody.
I definitely agree with that. But I wish she meant it as like a starting point. She just meant it as he's a godly guy.
Yeah,
But that's like a low resolution kind of way of looking at it, to where it's like, yeah, there are problems with it, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, there's some positive to that.
Yeah.
So it's like, get off your high horse, Granny.
Yeah.
But there's some truth in what you're spitting.
For sure. Got that truth spit.
truth spitting.
Drink that truth spit, dog.
I just the sitting down with them and hearing that and shit. I mean, it drives me up a wall, and I try not to listen to it. But you know, when you're sitting there with family, I don't really care to be. You know what I mean? It just
No, you don't really care to be what?
I've never understood the whole like paying your tithes and then that makes you morally a good person, and or like for whatever reason, like I would never pay my tithes to a church. We would just give it to the homeless or something like that, like you talk about.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't fucking pay into a system that, you know what I mean?
Well,
It's definitely like part of the problem is that, you know, with her specifically, but people like her, if you're not giving it to the church, it doesn't count. It's not valid.
Yeah.
So it
Because
doesn't
we've
matter.
told her before that we donate stuff like that.
Yeah, but you still need to give to the church.
Yeah,
like we're not
that
doing
doesn't
enough.
count. Like morally, that doesn't count. Like you know, you're not doing anything in God's eyes. You're not doing anything. Ain't that crazy?
well, I mean, it just shows their limitations of thought
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
understanding, and that's entirely human.
Yeah.
They're stupid and wrong, but
is
it makes
what
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate humans.
No, they're the worst.
We are fucking stupid, man. We are terrible people that make up shit that doesn't even like, you know, we make up battles and I feel like the people that do know like everything, we've talked about this so many times, I just feel like they know this game, like they're just wherever they're at watching the game play out, and we're just stupid enough to follow what they say. We created our own enemies. We created racial enemies. We created political and religious enemies for nobody even. I don't even think they had to tell us it was bad. They were just like, they'll fucking start fighting on their own.
They're different.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, there's black and white. Duke it out.
Yeah, that's exactly how it's gonna go.
I mean, that's just, you look at it as that's what the small-minded people do. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you come across anybody with any intelligence, they'll tell you the same shit. They're like, oh, they're dividing us, and it's only the idiots let people divide them.
Only the weak would let them.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, how often do you come across somebody where they want to battle you because you're white? Like,
Not since he was a child.
And now,
For real, you used to get beat up all the time because you were white.
But then kids are even stupider than
Kids are
grown-up religious
fucking terrible.
people.
Jesus.
That was always rough. And you know something we talked about though, that never once did it cross my mind getting my ass kicked every single day. For that and the fact that I was like overweight. I was an overweight redheaded white dude, and it was just
Fat ginger.
Yeah, they had a
Cards
field
were
day, bro.
stacked against them from the
They had a
beginning.
field day. I'd get my ass whooped constantly, right? But never once did it dawn on me like, oh, it's because I'm at
'Cause I
a
look
majority.
different.
Yeah, majority of people that I go to school with were people of color, and I was. I stood out like a fucking sore thumb. You know what I mean?
Because you're the supreme race. So I mean, why would anybody want to beat you?
That's why I was like, I didn't even get it. But there was people in my family that, I mean, verbally said, that those things about the people, and I'm like, it just never dawned on me that was the reason why they hate me. I just always figured it's something I did, or like, you know, or they're going through something harder than I am, even though, you know, I felt like we were going through hard times. Like, even having that compassion, like maybe they got some shit going on. But it never dawned on me.
It's just an example, though, that people are born not like that. And
They're
then,
not, dude.
And then those thoughts and ideas are just like,
Implement it.
yeah, they're just pushed on us. And
Have we ever
But
talked
people
about...
accept them.
I mean, people talk about racism. Oh, it's not. We're not born with it. It's taught. But in the wild, whenever there's like an albino tiger, they'll separate that when they're like, oh, no, get this thing out of here. It's fucking different. So I mean, on a scale, that is essentially racism, and it's nature.
Right.
Ooh, hold on. I saw a thing the other day. It was on Instagram talking about like black ants feel that red ants are the enemy, and red ants feel like black ants are the enemy, but the real enemy is whoever shook the jar, right? And because it gets them all agitated and they don't know what happened, so they blame it on the thing that doesn't look like them. And they were like, the real enemy is the one that shook the jar. So who's shaking the jar?
Well, it's really a matter. Well, yes,
like
but
that
also who
analogy.
bit first.
Right. Yeah. I like it though.
But
and
if the shaking is what caused the bite, the shaking is the problem.
Yeah,
and it goes back to
only kind of.
Yeah.
'Cause
I
I
guess,
mean,
at that point, you have a choice. Do you bite or do you not?
Yeah, it's like if we're sitting in here and somebody comes by and blows up that wall and you punch Adam, is it your fault or is it the person that blew up the wall? It's like Adam didn't blow up the wall.
Yeah.
it goes
Maybe
back
I think
to-
he did.
So maybe it's just like a call to consider problems on a deeper level.
Well, and everyone is responsible for their own actions and their own behavior. No matter what's going on, you have a choice of you can be kind or you can be a dick.
Yeah. Society's falling. Turn to cannibalism.
Yeah.
We don't have to.
There's so much food.
I've been wanting to eat this motherfucker for a long time.
Right, yeah.
We talked about it on a few podcasts back. Like you just said, like in the wild that they tear the albino tiger apart. Generational racism. So it's so deeply ingrained that when you pass on genetics, you also pass on traits. You pass on little specks of information to your child. And I think over the course of time, because it has been very bad racially before. I mean, very, very bad. Much worse than it is now. Much, much worse. Yeah. And so those things are deeply ingrained, bro. I think that, children, they get that coding, that information from generations past. Even if it's just like minute and whatever, it's in them no matter what.
And then it depends on what happens after. Are people watering the little bits of information or not? Because, I mean, if you don't see people acting a fool and, I don't like this person and, whatever, likely it won't grow into anything else. It might be there, but it doesn't grow.
It's
I think the thing that irritates me the most about all of it is people they're like, oh, racism is taught, but it's such low-hanging fruit to like, let's burn the racists. It's like, but if you truly believe it's taught, then you're burning a brainwashed person.
Yeah, unteach them.
Yeah.
That's technically a victim.
For real. That's
Yeah.
especially in
Victim of
America.
Burn the victims.
Yeah.
Especially in America, people are so unwilling to accept flaws,
Oh,
and they don't want to fix it. They just want to get rid of it.
The guy, Justin Sledge, maybe the Esoterica guy.
Yeah.
He's like Jewish as shit, but he was talking about like Mein Kampf and stuff, and all these philosophers and things that are like historically anti-Semitic, and he's like, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah.
They were morally assholes, but they still have brilliance in this avenue.
Right. Yeah. You're either good or you're bad. You can't be anything in between.
But that's more small-minded shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they feel justified in it.
Yeah.
So let's burn the small-minded.
I would say, damn, a guy feels fucking justified. If somebody feels justified and righteous, Jesus, man, it gets bad because those people will take it to extremes.
Yeah.
Because the bad part about it is,
I have a mandate for this.
Jordan Peterson goes back and on top of a lot of studies, proclaims.
He murdered a guy?
Oh no,
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
he proclaims that anybody, no matter how righteous you believe you are, that we are all subject to corruption and greed and violence and all that shit, given the power. If you're justified and righteous and stuff like that, when they give you the power, you take it to some crazy extreme.
Yeah, it's because it makes it simpler.
Yeah.
If you could just streamline it. All right, let's cut out this 27% of people, and the rest of us are fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your problems there. I don't know. It's whatever.
There's always problems.
something.
Yeah.
Always fucking something.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Kyle Rittenhouse, that he was found like not guilty of all charges.
Yeah.
Which after the stuff come out or whatever, it was thing. But I gotta.
Yeah. Once the evidence is presented and you listen to it, he's fine.
He's fine.
I mean, maybe he's an idiot kid. Well, he's definitely an idiot kid.
Right.
But yeah.
The only thing, so I totally get it, because in the eyes of the law, he was protecting himself in that moment.
Yeah.
You know, in every other moment when he had the chance to just shoot somebody or willy-nilly, he did not. He did it when they were like
Right.
hitting him with skateboard shit. But I did get like memes, not memes, but they're like posts from people that related it to the African American lady that shot her abuser, but then she either got life or it was like a long prison sentence. I'll have to look up her name again, because I know I'm gonna say like,
was she like a teenage sex slave or some shit?
Yeah, and then, but I think the facts of that case were more so that it was after the fact, and she went back and killed the abuser. So she wasn't in immediate
revenge.
danger. It was revenge.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like no matter how fucked up shit is, it's like revenge is not legal.
Right. Unfortunately, because I totally agree with it. To kill that dude.
I mean, see, there's definitely a lot of people though that, you know, if I heard the whole story and you went back, 6 months later and shot him, I don't care.
I don't even care.
great.
I'm the judge.
The
I'm like,
dude
good.
was terrible, but if you want to live in this society,
You can't.
Yeah.
That's rough.
you can't do that. And if the jury says you're guilty, unfortunately,
And
that's
this-
the way the cookie crumbles.
This comes back to a problem that is prevalent in our society, is not understanding the facts and not releasing the first thing you get, whatever that's called, when you get the first information and all of it's wrong, but you stick with that
like
because
preliminary.
You get your knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
we stick with, even if you showed a lot of the people these facts, they would still revert back to that false information they got in the beginning. And most of them believe that it was an illegal gun, believe that he come over the state lines with the intent to kill people and all this stuff, and that a lot of people don't even know that they weren't African Americans that he shot,
Right.
and all that stuff. But a lot of people are stuck with that first thing that they heard when the news was pumping it out there, and it's their fault too. It's CNN's fault and all that.
White kid kills people at Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
it's rough, and that's but we're stuck with that.
Yeah.
So we have an abundant amount of people in this world that will not look at the facts for what they are and make a really informed decision, but without emotion. So
Right.
whatever that's called, when you
A smart one.
yeah, there's a word for it when you make it without just based
An
on facts.
unbiased, an objective decision.
An objective, yeah. To where it's this is what it
Informed
is.
Decision, yeah.
But a lot of people are and it's what that's what we're cultivating here, man.
Yeah.
I sent. Did you ever watch the video of the TikTok thing, and it was talking about like how corrupt TikTok was?
No.
And,
Oh man,
Oh,
it's
you gotta
I
watch the
started
rest of
to,
it.
but I ended up getting off of work, and then I forgot about it.
yeah.
You're lucky I watched the Graham Hancock thing. Don't,
Oh, I know.
Don't pressure me.
Graham Ham.
I'm the same way, man. Like she'll send me a bunch, but that was.
He
I'm
never
sorry,
listens
I-
to anything I send him.
I did intend to watch it, though.
Him.
Oh,
You
yeah.
mean him. Okay.
Him.
I was like, I
Me.
do.
Yeah,
Sometimes I'll just read a headline, but most of the time I
yeah,
give it,
for sure.
It was
Usually that's all you
crazy
need.
good because it was designed, and it's designed
Miguel
to
Adams getting worked out.
collect all the information from the people who use the app and not just pictures. I'm gonna throw that fucking thing. not
Look
just
at him, he's pissed.
not just use the information from like the app or whatever you look up or to make that easier, but they would look at the pictures in your phone, the internet searches, when you're calling during the day, when you're texting during the day, the contents within your text, the emojis, all that. Getting all this information from these people and building these profiles. And over in China, the only thing that's allowed on the app is videos of like hard workers doing their job, educational stuff, military stuff, and pro-China.
I feel like I saw that somewhere else.
Yeah.
Where it's like the next thing, it's more like inflammatory shit. But then in China, it's like, hey,
Yeah.
here's stuff for duty and hard work.
Yeah, and that's like, they don't do like booty shaking and all these other stupid dances and all this other stuff. They don't do all that. They do, I mean, it's to build better people, which they teach children in grade school how to use military mortars and guns and all this other shit.
And they have sweatshops.
Yeah. So crazy.
Whatever. The biggest thing is they have a problem with the Dalai Lama, so they could suck shit. But they do some things right.
Doo-doo. Oh, spot on.
Y'all are gay, dog.
Good.
Whatever. You're gay.
No, that's but it was just crazy, man. What they, you know, the evil that was behind TikTok and that we've seen it personally. We've been places with people that the entire time we're with them and their child that probably shouldn't be on social media anyways, constantly scrolling through it because the algorithm was so good that people have a hard time getting away from it. They have studied it to a T. It's the best. Where the buttons are placed, how much of the screen is used.
I mean, while I agree with you that they do have that, it still just feels like people falling back on, well, I don't want to make any conscious decisions to better myself.
Oh yeah.
So
They feel, and some people feel like they're getting their education from TikTok. Motherfuckers will send me things and it's like do-it-yourself videos or educational. They don't know if the information is true because it's coming from somebody like them.
well, they're never going to use it anyway. It's like, look what I'm doing. It's like a little dopamine hit. Like, look, I accomplished something. You didn't accomplish shit. You found something that may or may not be true. And you sent it to me.
Good job.
Yeah.
Before we started the company, I'm glad I went across the video, and that is called something to where people will watch videos about like other people doing it or building it, and then they feel like they have accomplished something in knowledge or whatever. Yeah, and they feel like they're...
It's like with sports teams. We won the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
What
we
position did you play? I bought a jersey 7 years ago.
Damn it, man.
I mean,
You got pee? Oh, shit, Sarah's peeing.
Is that okay?
she's
Sarah's
going to
peeing.
Do you want me to leave the door open so you can hear it?
Yeah, one of
Bring
these
us
cameras
back.
will
I'm
catch it.
thirsty.
No, man, that's it was crazy to watch that because I've seen people fall victim to this fucking app and it's just like they scroll like crazy but you know, now I understand it more that it was specifically designed, and then so they don't let people that are higher up in the government and shit is banned from, they can't download it on their phones or their government devices because of how much information they collect.
Yeah. They
That's
can't put it
crazy.
on their work phone, but...
They definitely have one.
Oh, no, I figured they just do it on their personal thing.
Yeah, dude.
It's like Hillary wasn't supposed to be sending certain emails through a personal email, but she did it anyway.
Yeah, she's like, fuck
Because
it.
people at the top of the government are just people.
Yep, they're just human like us. Put them pants on.
Well, not like us. Some of them are reptilian, but they're...
Do you think that's true?
You know, it's...
Do you for real think that?
I don't know.
It's conceivable?
It's conceivable, but what isn't? You know?
Right.
I think sometimes I put my pants on both legs at once, just so I could chuckle to myself. One leg at a time, my ass.
So much better than them
Yeah,
peasants.
I'm a time saver.
You are. Look at
Then
you.
I get my dick stuck in my zipper.
Which that has nothing to do with putting your pants on both legs at the same time.
I have my head
Different
so far
problems.
up my own ass when I'm not paying attention to the zipper. I'm better than everyone. Ah!
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I've never gotten my dick stuck in anything.
which is a surprise,
Yeah,
considering how big it is.
considering. Yeah.
Man, I gotta pee too.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, damn, we all got
Sorry, I could have just held it.
I know. That's why we were close anyway.
You're not even on.
But yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But no, that was
But
I think we're
drink.
gonna close out this episode. Wishing everybody the happy Thanksgiving, even though it's over. Hopefully you had a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening, getting this far. Like, share, comment, whatever. This was episode 130 of the Wildly Uninteresting podcast.
Go to Asiana and get the monkey brain.
Get the monkey brain with Sarah, Ian, and I'm Adam. We thank you for making it this far. Enjoy the rest of your week and try not to be an asshole.
Skibbity ba 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 ba.
Wildly Uninteresting podcast.